Should you buy the DJI Spark? Hey guys, I'm Dan here from DansTube.TV, and today I'm going to give you my honest opinion and a rundown on the DJI Spark and whether it fits your needs. This 300-gram pocket-sized drone will set you back $646.19 on Amazon right now, but that is for the Fly More combo, which includes the additional batteries, the prop guards, the controller, and everything else. So $646 on Amazon isn't too bad at all for this compact drone. I had a chance to test the Spark for a few days, and I really made the most of it. I tested it in a variety of different situations, and I really just delved into the software and just tried to see what they are offering in this cheaper package here. Being an owner of the Mavic and having it for over 6 months now, I've got to really learn all about the Mavic and what it can do. Now, it was great to see that all of those features are pretty much available on the Spark. There's probably only a few software features that are lacking on the Spark, but then you do get this advanced gesture control, which is obviously something you don't get on the Mavic. Now, I've spoken to a few filmmakers, videographers and whatnot, and they actually swear by the Spark. This tiny little unit is extremely powerful and autonomous, so you can set it up in all of these really cool intelligent flight modes, and you can just let it do its thing, and it's got a really awesome system where it just kind of works. The one thing that these filmmakers were really loving about the Spark is just how easy and small it is. So it's extremely easy to maneuver around tight situations, and due to its tiny form factor means that you can trust it in tight hallways or through the jungle, the bush, or the forest if there's lots of trees around you, if you're flying in the house, for example, or if you're filming on a very tight constrained set, then the Spark is really good. The 1080p footage is actually quite solid, and people just swear by it. It's extremely lightweight, it weighs nothing, you can tuck it away, and it's really great. Now, on that note, I do love that you've got the folding blades, but the arms of the Spark itself are fixed, so unlike the Mavic where you can fold it into a tiny little form factor, the Spark will have these little arms that are sticking out, and they are relatively stable and sturdy, so I don't believe they're going to be breaking anytime soon, but having that additional kind of form factor poking out, it does leave the Spark open to the elements, and that means that those arms could be a stress point and potentially something that could break in the future. Now, that's just something to be mindful of. Obviously, if you're smart about how you pack it away, or if you get a proper case, then that's not an issue at all, but that's just something to mention. Another thing to mention about the Spark is it does struggle to land sometimes, as it does have quite a narrow landing base. Now, I recommend using the gesture controls, the palm land and the palm launch, as they actually work really well, and then you can just take it over from your app or from the controller, and that actually works really seamlessly between the two modes. That's something that I did personally because I just wasn't happy with how it would land on tall grass or near rocks or whatever. It just had a lot of issues, and there is not much clearance from the camera and the ground, so you've got to be very careful where you're landing and how you're landing. They have also made a few other gestures available to the Spark. Now, they made video gestures available recently. When I made my video review, it wasn't available, so there was no way to use a gesture to start recording. That is now available to us, as well as taking pictures with the gesture as well. So this gesture mode is very handy, as you can launch and land as well as record and take pictures, so it's quite a versatile gesture setup. Plus you can also do a few other gestures as well to make it fly away from you or track you, and they are extremely handy on the fly, just to get out your Spark and start recording straight away. One thing to mention though, which I mentioned in my review, is you do need to watch out for birds, as for some reason they swoop the Spark. They just aren't concerned by the presence of the Spark in the air, they're not afraid of it, and for some reason they try to attack it. Or maybe they're just trying to play with it because it looks like a little birdie. The 2-axis gimbal on the Spark was an initial concern for me, as I just didn't think the footage was going to be that smooth, but after using the Spark, the 2-axis gimbal is sufficient. The footage is still extremely smooth, and I didn't have any juttery footage or any issues when I was moving too fast. If you are flying through the air like a maniac, then you probably will have some issues with stabilized footage, but overall for just normal tests, the 2-axis gimbal is definitely sufficient. The Spark Spark can also get up to a top speed of 50 kilometers per hour, which is insanely fast and probably too fast for most people, but it's really great to just have that as an option in case you're maybe, say, too far away from the drone and you need to bring it in quickly, so you just put it into sports mode and get it back in quickly. You also have a range with the controller of up to 2 kilometers. When you're using your phone though, that limits it to around 100 meters, so you've got to be mindful of that. If you do pick up the Fly More combo, then you do have the controller, which then allows you to obviously go up to 2 kilometers or 1.2 miles away from you with your drone, which is insanely amazing, but for something this small you really don't want to be flying that far away, as you're not going to be able to see it at all. They also say that you get 16 minutes of flight time, which if you compare the Spark to the Mavic, you're only missing out on about 10 minutes of flight time, and you've got to remember that this is in such a small form factor. The battery on the Spark is going to be a lot smaller than the Mavic's battery, and 16 minutes of flight time is not bad at all. Does not take long to charge, and if you get the Fly More combo, then you have another battery to go straight away. So honestly, that battery time is still relatively competitive with the market, and it still does the job. 16 minutes does fly by relatively quickly though, and if you're going to be using this for video gigs, then you're going to make sure that you have a lot of batteries. The Spark is still cram-packed full of high-tech technology. You have flight autonomy systems, which they consist of the main camera, which includes the 2-axis gimbal obviously. You have a downward-facing vision sensor, a forward-facing 3D sensing system, dual-band GPS, and also 24 powerful computing cores, and this allows the Spark to hover and accurately track subjects while on the go. The Spark can take 12 megapixel photos, and it shoots at 1080p at 30 frames per second, and that's stabilized by the 2-axis gimbal, so you don't have any 4K, which a lot of people are really angry about, but I mean, in such a small form factor, and for what you're going to be using this for, 1080p is probably sufficient. I would love to see 4K in the future, but then that would ramp the price up again, so it makes sense why they've made this their lower end drone. The Spark is still crammed full of intelligent flight modes, including quick shot, tap fly, active track, and gesture. And with the quick shot you can use rocket, droney, circle, and helix, and they are all different styles of flight that is all automated through the system and creates super cinematic footage, and that's all from a tiny consumer grade drone. It's just amazing how far technology has come, and it's amazing what you can do with this tiny drone. It is really just as powerful as the Mavic when it comes to the software and the technology and safety that they've integrated into this drone. So honestly, if you're in the market for a drone, you don't have enough money for the Mavic, or maybe you would just prefer the smaller form factor or maybe the more opportunities for maneuverability through tight areas, then the Spark is really good. It can even be a really great cinematography addition to your set, because it's still a great 1080p camera, it still has all of these great modes, it's really easy to use, it has a decent flight time, it's extremely fast as well and reliable, and overall the Spark was just a pleasure to play around with. So it really could be the great drone that you're looking for. It just really depends on your budget and your needs. So if you believe that it's the right fit for you, then honestly you will love it. It's a great little drone with lots of different color options and a great purchase overall. So thank you so much for watching. If you do pick up a Spark, then let me know in the comments below. If you would like to check out the Mavic, I've got heaps of videos on my channel, so make sure to subscribe and check out my Mavic videos if you're in the market for maybe a more expensive drone from DJI. But that's it guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to have a splendid day, and drone out.